You know, it's pretty much the invisible architecture of our entire modern world. It connects billions of us in a flash. But have you ever stopped to think about where it all came from? Because this global network, well, it wasn't born from a happy vision of connection. It was actually born from a deep fear of annihilation. And believe it or not, its very first words weren't some grand announcement, but a system crash.
So you might think the internet started in a garage in Silicon Valley, right? Nope. The real story begins with Cold War paranoia, this intense fear that a single attack could completely silence an entire nation. And its very first message? It wasn't "Hello World," it was a crash after just 2 letters.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. And our story doesn't begin with a computer, but with a huge geopolitical shockwave that sent ripples across the globe, the Sputnik scare.
Imagine this. It's October 4th, 1957. The Soviet Union launches Sputnik into orbit. Now, this satellite was only about the size of a beach ball, but it sent this absolute shockwave of fear across the United States. It was a terrifyingly clear sign that America was falling behind in technology. So in response, the US government scrambled, creating new agencies like ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency, to kickstart American innovation and make sure they were never surprised again.
Now, what's really interesting here is that one of ARPA's biggest worries wasn't just about space, but about communication right here on Earth. See, military planners had this terrifying realization. The entire US long-distance phone system was centralized. That meant an attack on just a few key buildings could sever communication lines for the entire country. It was a single point of failure. They needed a network that could survive no matter what.
So, this need for a network that could actually survive an attack led to this absolutely revolutionary idea. And, well, to the very first message. And it was, lo and behold, literally.
The solution they came up with was this totally new, kind of radical idea called packet switching. The main idea was to stop thinking of a message as one single solid thing. Instead, you'd shatter it into thousands of tiny digital pieces, or packets.
Think of it like this. Instead of sending a whole book through the mail in one big box, you tear out every single page. You mail each page in its own separate envelope. They all travel on different trucks, take different routes, and then they're all put back together in the right order on the other side. If one page gets lost or its road is blocked, no big deal. It can just be resent or find a new path. It's a brilliant way to build a network with no single point of failure, right? No center to attack. So this packet switching tech, it became the backbone for a brand new experimental network called ARPANET. And back in 1969, its first 4 connection points, or nodes, were installed at universities in California and Utah, linking these massive, room-sized computers together for the first time.
And this is where we get to that legendary first message. On October 29th, 1969, a programmer at UCLA tried to send the word login to a computer at Stanford. He typed L, and Stanford got it. Success! He typed O. They got that too. Awesome. Then he typed G, and the whole system crashed. So the very first message ever sent across the internet was lo, as in lo and behold. A beautifully imperfect start to a revolution.
Okay, so ARPANET was a huge success. But here's the thing. It wasn't the only network. Other countries were building their own, and that created a brand new problem. How do you get all these different networks to talk to each other?
I mean, you had ARPANET over in the US, you had the NPL network in the UK, another one in France called Cyclades, and they were all like separate islands. You couldn't send an email from a computer on one network to a computer on another. They were totally incompatible. They needed a translator, a universal language.
And the answer came from these 2 brilliant computer scientists, Vinton Cerf and Bob Kahn. They developed something called TCP/IP. You can think of it as a set of rules, or really, a universal language for computer networks. The crucial point here is that with TCP/IP, it didn't matter what kind of computer you had, or what your local network was made of. As long as you spoke TCP/IP, you could connect to everyone else, forming an internetwork.
Okay, this moment right here, this is arguably the real birthday of the internet as we know it. On January 1st, 1983, they called it Flag Day. Every single computer on ARPANET had to switch over to the new TCP/IP protocol, all at the exact same time. It was this carefully coordinated, all-or-nothing leap of faith that finally unified all the separate networks and created the foundation for one single global internet.
All right, so we have it. The internet exists, this incredible network of networks. But, and this is a big but, it was still a world for experts, for geeks. To get from there to the web we all use today, we had to go from typing commands to just clicking.
Yeah, back in the 1980s, using the internet was not fun. We're talking black screens, green text, and these super complicated commands you had to memorize just to do anything. It was functional for sure, but it was not user-friendly. Thankfully, that was all about to change with the invention of the World Wide Web.
A British computer scientist named Tim Berners-Lee saw something different. He imagined a system of information that you could access through the internet, where documents could be linked to each other using something called hypertext. You could just click a link to jump from one piece of information to the next, creating this beautiful web of knowledge.
But even his web needed a key to unlock it for the rest of us, and that key was Mosaic, the first really popular web browser. For the very first time, you could see words and pictures on the same page. You could navigate with clickable links and scroll bars. It made the web visual, intuitive, and frankly, exciting. The internet finally had a friendly face.
So let's recap. We've got a resilient network that can survive anything, we've got a universal language, and now we have a friendly face. All the pieces were finally in place. The stage was set for the explosion that created the world we all live in today.
Just to give you some perspective, in 1981, just before this whole boom, this was the entire network. 213 computers. That's it. Isn't that wild?
But once the web went public, and once the commercial restrictions were finally lifted in the mid-90s, oh man, things just exploded. The internet wasn't just for researchers anymore. It became a platform for everyone. Amazon started selling books, Google began to organize all that information, and pretty soon, Wikipedia and Facebook would completely change how we learn and how we connect.
And that brings us right here to today. From that one failed message between two computers, from a tiny network of just 213 hosts, the internet has grown into this essential global nervous system for over 5 billion of us. It's an incredible journey from a military experiment to the fabric of our daily lives.
I mean, think about it. It all started as a military tool, right? Designed to survive a nuclear war. And from that, we built this global stage for information, connection, and commerce. This entire world emerged from that original simple need to keep a message alive. It really makes you wonder, as this technology keeps changing and growing, what new worlds are we going to build next?